Right. Oh shit.
At
I haven't slept.
last,
Okay.
at last, Jeramie. Welcome to the show, and thank you very much for hanging out for the last 3 days or whatever it is. Um,
No worries. Thanks for having me, Howard. Appreciate it, brother.
no, absolute pleasure, man. We've got a lot of people in common. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so so I sing in Acid Rain, and
Uh-huh. Cool.
so we're sharing drummers with Venom Inc. at the moment. I've known Tony and Jeff for about 30 years.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Cool.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of friends in common, but we've never met that I'm aware of until
No, I
now.
don't think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, so since I left the band, I've played a bunch of festivals because I do front of house for Deicide for everybody out there listening who doesn't know. I'm also a sound man and I own a
Yes.
studio and I do all my
Yeah.
own tricks and all that shit. But I was doing front of house for Deicide. We played a bunch of festival dates with Venom Inc. and I saw Mark out there and said howdy and all that stuff. So that's cool. Oh
Ah,
yeah.
that's cool, man. That's cool. Well, yeah, that's a strange kind of thing. I mean, when I initially got your email and it's like your email signature is just like, right, is there anything this guy doesn't fucking do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, my wife's like, yeah, you should probably include all that stuff. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, at some point, it just feels like, I don't know. It just feels like I'm like bragging or like I'm like, it feels like a bit much like that. So I'm not one for like talking too much about myself or about what happens. I mean, yeah, I just let the music do the talking. And oh, did
I
I
know what
mute
you
it
mean.
and unmute it?
No, you're good. You're
Okay.
good.
Joe Perry, you just let the music do the talking and then, whatever. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not here for the pats on the back. I'm
Yeah.
here because my dad put a set of drumsticks in my hand at 17 months old, and here we are. This is
So
all a byproduct of that shit.
it's all his fault.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, drumming is it. Drumming's the first love, drumming's the passion.
Yeah, I used to think that really. I did front of house for many years, and I joined Venom, and I toured, and I played all of the festivals that any little young metalhead boy could hope for, or girl, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, Wacken, Hellfest, Japan, all of it, right? And it was
Yeah.
like I did all of that, right? And then I had some friends of mine who called me back to do front of house, and I hadn't done front of house in 3 years, so I hadn't mixed any bands live in 3 years. And I'm like, I lined up, made it work, and I decided to do the tour, and I did the tour, and I went to go roll I went to go roll their intro on the first night, and it gave me the same feeling that playing my own intro at Wacken in front of 90,000 people gave me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so it clicked at that moment. I was like, it has nothing to do with performing or being the artist or
Yeah.
being on stage. I was like, it just has to do with being involved with music on a level. Like, I was like, oh, okay. That's what I'm like. Everything else is a byproduct. Like, everything else is a byproduct of just that love of music and being a part of it. I mean, it's great. It's great. I
Yeah.
couldn't actually fathom doing anything else, but lucky for me, I don't really have to. So
But that's
really
that's
lucky for
really
me.
cool because to get that buzz, to get that adrenaline rush from that point as well. I would imagine that was the kind of experience where it's like, oh, I just learned something about myself.
Yeah, it was totally one of those. It was a bit of an aha moment. I mean,
Yeah.
I called my wife immediately after. Was like, "Honey, check this out." I was like, "Listen, this experience that just happened," and she's like, she's not shocked. She's like, "Well, I mean, yeah." She's like, "I know." She's like, "You're not in it for the." Oh my God! Like, I mean, because you're a front of house is a bit of a thankless position,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I like it. I can do my own thing and I can just work and I can be in my own thing. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have fans come up to me and want to have like take a photo or have me sign something, but that's a, a rarity and compared to like if I get off stage. I mean, that's a little bit more of an influx of that type of interaction, but I like it. I mean, I can just go work and it's not it doesn't matter like what my outfit is that day, or it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if it doesn't matter fuck all. It's just me going and doing something that I'm passionate about. And
Yeah.
I dig front of house. I mean, I've actually done this is my fourth tour since July 25th. I've been out since July 25th, and I've had
Wow.
four tours back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Completely. I mean, there's been no breaks except for that hurricane just hit, so we went home a little bit early from our tour from Deicide. But other than that, I started off doing front of house, drumming, front of house, drumming. So I've flipped them
Yeah.
just like that. It's been pretty incredible. Although I have to say, this King Diamond tour I'm on right now is pretty badass. So I'm having like a good time just playing drums 45 minutes a night. I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
phew,
Yeah.
barely breaking a sweat, having a great time out here ripping with King Diamond. It's pretty
That
killer.
that's awesome. I mean, I'm a massive fan of short sets. I mean, it's great. It's great
Yeah,
headlining and everything. And that's great. But it's a
yeah,
longer set, and
yeah,
I always hate that feeling of you come out of the dressing room, you towel off, whatever. You go out, oh, it's empty, everyone's gone.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas when you're supporting, it's like, short set, come out, hey, everyone's still here.
yeah,
The party's
yeah.
still going.
Yeah, I can actually grab a shower and catch all of King Diamond's set. So it's
Yeah.
pretty rad. And yesterday we actually we played in Cincinnati, and the city was doing some sort of like a drone show. Um
All right.
Sort of like a drone fireworks type of event thing. So we all got to watch it from the top of the building that we were at. I mean, but first I watched King Diamond for like 30 minutes, and then I went and checked out this drone show, and then Pat O'Brien ended up coming out to the show because he lives in Cincinnati now. So we were hanging out with him, and it was like, yeah, exactly. It's not like the gig's
Yeah.
over, we're packed up, we gotta go. Like,
Yeah, it's
okay.
the night is young. I mean, and
Yeah.
if you're playing with a band, no matter who it is, sometimes some nights you don't want to catch their set, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can actually go out and like be a part of wherever you are, see things, go places, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
pretty cool.
yeah. No, I love it. I love it. But also, headlining that's cool as well. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
but also you're getting to do you're getting to do the performance thing, but you're also I would have thought part of one of the cool things about doing front of house is the anonymity that comes with that as well.
yeah. I really do like that because I mean, even in the bus, or the van or wherever we're at, whatever it may or may not be, shuttle, green room, I'm usually like headphones in doing my own thing. If I'm not reading, I'm watching a movie, or I'm talking with my wife. Uh, I, I don't know. I don't drink,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I do smoke weed, but at home, I never, when I'm out on the road, never, like,
Yeah.
never, even if I'm crewing or playing drums, and there's no reason for that. I mean, other than I just don't want to. I'd rather experience everything as like a raw nerve and just experience what I'm experiencing. So
Yeah.
some pressure relief would be nice. I mean, I know that that's why people drink and that's why they smoke, because it's a bit of an escape, but I don't want to escape. I want it to be
Ah.
I want it to be like whatever it is, and I will want to just go
Yeah.
through it. And
I kind of disagree as well, because I think for a lot of people, especially alcohol, it's not an escape. It's a way of maintaining the the high, the buzz, especially when you come off stage. You come off stage and it's like, right, that was great.
sure,
That was yeah,
sure.
and you talk about the show, which keeps
Yeah.
the adrenaline up.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, and then I'll have a beer, and that keeps the adrenaline up. And
Sure, sure.
and it basically it's a fast way to make touring really really fucking uncomfortable. Yeah,
Well,
it's
I mean, this is actually my I hit 10 years that I haven't drank, and I honestly can't say that I miss it even one bit. Like,
yeah.
not at all. But that's for me, and anybody can live however they want to live, and that's cool with me too, but it really doesn't affect me because, like, I mean, unless your decisions start affecting me, then but
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't care at all. I mean, but for me, I don't know. A lot of the fun did kind of leave when I stopped drinking. A lot of that, what you're saying, keeping the party going. But I found that I don't really want to do that anyways. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I did do that, it was because I was being led around by an alcoholic haze that was like, let's do that because I know
yeah,
me and I don't want to do
yeah.
I don't I'm pretty I mean as sociable as I am, I'm also pretty anti-sociable. I'm like, I'm just gonna go over here and do my own thing. That's like what you said, like the anonymity of doing front of house is um, the spotlight's not on me. But in reality,
Yeah.
the spotlight kind of is on you. But no one really knows that, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, as well as about that keeping the buzz going and that whole alcohol vibe, it's also unsustainable because you make bad decisions and get less sleep, and the sleep that you do get is not of a quality, and you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
you end up crashing.
Touring's definitely a lot easier since that for me, but hey, I've watched a bunch of functioning alcoholics that make it work and they're like wake up every day and they're peppy and they got the energy and I'm like, okay, I don't know how you're doing that, but hey, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I don't miss a hangover. Let me just say that. Not at all.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, you're on this like fucking heavy metal heaven tour at the moment, and so I've got to ask how did you end up getting the gig in Overkill?
Well, if you ask Blitz, he said he did it. uh, and that's
I can
because
hear him. I can
yeah,
hear him laughing in the
yeah, yeah,
background when
yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
He's a great dude.
He said, so basically, he had come out to Jersey when I played there with Venom last year, and he watched the gig, and I guess he had said to his girlfriend at that time, he's like, "I'm gonna one day have him playing with us, like he's gonna be an Overkill, something like that, something to that effect, right?" And so I used to crew with Overkill years ago. I actually drum tech for them like 13 or 14 years ago. That was my first like official on the books paid, like I work with this band.
This is your way in. You do realize that you're ruining future gigs here because bands are going to be like, no, you can't have him tech and you can't have him doing front of house because one of us is going to get fucking replaced by this dude.
That's actually what happened in Venom too. Like,
I know, I
so
know. This is
yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean. It's like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
going to get
yeah.
known for this.
So I did I crewed with them years ago and I was out with them for like 3 years. And we had a blast and we all got along very, very good. Okay. I stopped drum teching because I realized that that really wasn't for me. I
Yeah,
didn't so much like it. There wasn't
yeah.
any reason I didn't get burnt by a drummer or like I actually was fortunate to have I was going to say blessed, but I was fortunate to have good people that I worked for. Um, so everybody was lovely. That wasn't a problem. But I started transitioning into just doing front of house, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is good for me. I love this position.
Do
So
you see? Do you see also the? Do you see the actual physicality of the distance? Drum tacking, you're right next to it, and you are
yeah,
not getting to do the thing.
yeah,
Front of house, you could not be further away
yeah. I couldn't get
from
any further.
from what it is from
Unless I
that.
was like maybe a bus driver, then I'd
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah, sat
then I'm not even
outside
at the
in the
gig.
bus, going, "Have you guys finished yet?"
um. So, anyways, cool. Fast forward to I did that gig, and then I saw Blitz there at that gig, and cool. Then Bittner hit me up and asked me. He's like, "Hey man, can you fill in for me in Europe?
Ah,
I can't do this European tour." And I was like, "Oof, okay. I'm already slated to be out with Deicide." I was like, "But yeah, yes, no matter what, I got it. I'll make it work. I'll get a replacement for me for a couple days on the tour for Deicide. I'll have a replacement FOH. I'll make it work." Cool. A week or two goes by. Dee calls me and was like, "So you're in for Europe and you're in for New England Metal Fest in 6.5 weeks with King Diamond." I was like,
ha, ha.
what? I mean, if you know me, if you're like a friend of mine or you know anything about my life, my youngest daughter, her name is Abigail. She weighed 7.77. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I have a King Diamond tattoo. I was like, oh my God, I never thought that he was even touring again. let
Yeah.
alone that I could ever even like, let alone be playing an Overkill, supporting, direct support in this run. I was like, so I was a little over the moon at that point, but my schedule became hell. And then, so I just thought I was originally filling in for a show. And of course, we all know what happened. Jason stepped away from the band, and
Yeah.
here we are. So I was like, okay. I was like, it was like that escalated quickly. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. So I went from filling in for 2 weeks to now I'm doing all of this. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool little. So I guess I have to attribute it to Jason. And then, but Blitz was also saying, you were my first choice anyway. So he's like, yeah. So we'll see. It's up for debate. It's either way.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you know what's happening? Has kind of like when the tours stop and the inevitability of of another Overkill record gets discussed. Is has that come up yet? I have to ask. Obviously, it would already be announced, but you've still got
yeah.
the moniker of touring drummer.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So Blitz every night says, "Welcome the newest member of Overkill." It's talked about like that. They're talking about the next record, so we'll see. We'll see how it officially comes down the pipe.
Yeah,
There's no official word yet, but I don't know. It feels
that
pretty
is
good. We
yeah
all get
that
along very well. We have like a good time, and there's nothing. I'm real laid back, so it's pretty good. It's been going good so far.
that's how these things happen, though, isn't it? It's like at some
Mm,
point, like someone somewhere goes, so like, is it though? I mean, is it though? Because like you all say that, and I think that, but we
yeah.
haven't actually said the thing yet, you know?
I kind
And
of like that though. I like when it's like, I like
right,
that. I think it's fun. I'm like, whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah,
everyone's asking me, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess we all just have to wait and see, don't we?
yeah. Or it's like 3 years, 4 years, two albums down the line, and everyone's kind of like, well, do you know what? We never actually did have that conversation. It just happened.
Well, Wikipedia says so, so there we go. I'm
Oh
good.
well, there you go. And it wasn't you who edited it.
Fuck no, you can research that. It ain't me. What else? I think Encyclopedia Metallum says it too. So I've had some
Oh,
buddies of mine send it to me. They're like, "Dude, you're in," and I'm like, "All right, well, whatever."
well, yeah. If Wikipedia and the Encyclopedia Metallica say so, then yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
it's official.
yeah, yeah. Bobby and Dee Dee have no say. Look, guys,
Mm,
the internet has already signed off on this, so
yeah,
you're stuck with me.
Oz has spoken. My kids actually. So for years, we live in a different time, right? So our kids can Google us now, right?
Yes, yeah.
So my kids, when they were in like fourth grade, my daughters were like, would Google, and they were like, it says that I'm worth like $5 million or
Oh,
something like that.
yes, yeah,
Oh my God. Super not true.
yeah.
Not to discuss my finances, but I mean, I'm not like, I don't have 5 million, but they were like, they fucking loved it. It was as good as true to them.
Yeah,
And they could Google their dad and show, like, they're like, look, it was, I'm like, well,
yeah,
I'm like, girls, just because it's written, I'm like, whatever. It's fifth grade. It ain't gonna matter. You won't know these people in 15 years anyway. So
yeah.
whatever. I'm
I,
like,
I,
have
it's
fun,
it.
kid.
Yeah, that whole like what people are worth value is like it's like if any of us in metal were worth what it that says, we
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be doing what we're doing. Yeah, we'd have
No, maybe
retired.
not. Yeah. I doubt we'd be playing El Corazon or that's a little venue up in Seattle that everybody plays. But they're like, oh my God, Nirvana played here in Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, and you play there, and it's like it's a proper dump, But
Yeah,
lo- it's
yeah,
lovable. It's lovable. It's got its charm, But it's still none of us would be playing there if we were worth millions. We'd
yeah, yeah.
we'd be doing like these venues. Like this is from Houston the other night. I believe that was Houston. That was
Wow.
that was my view the other day. So
Oh, that's awesome, man.
yeah, this tour has been pretty incredible. It's been pretty incredible. I'll just say.
And and presumably you're getting to play some like key named venues that
Mm.
in other projects you know you wouldn't have got to do.
No, as a matter of fact, there's it's a this will be like the step up from like the normal metal death metal touring. These are in like halls and theaters and like
Yeah.
I mean shit. You see like Ariana Grande posters hanging on the walls at the venue, and you're like, oh wow, she was here. That's or I'm looking at a Olivia Rodrigo poster in the background from when she played at this place that we're at today. So you're
That's,
like, okay,
that's
it's a different.
amazing. But that's like when did this happen with King Diamond? Mind you, as somebody from the UK, I don't think I appreciate how big King Diamond was and is in the States because
Yeah,
he's at a level in the States that I don't think is reflected here in the UK or maybe even Europe.
yeah. I don't know because he used to do smaller stuff, but his last two tours didn't get completed because of his health reasons, and then he suffered some more health issues. And like again, like I said, I didn't think he would ever tour again. I mean, he's up in the late 60s, early like he's coming.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how old he is, but I was trying to guess last night. So uh, maybe in post we can dump it right here. We can say his age. Um,
No,
but
because I don't think we can because I don't think anybody knows. I think it's like
oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
a metal
yeah,
secret.
it's a mystery. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Let's say
It's
175 then.
well, this is it. You know, there's
He's a
people
vampire.
there's people who say he was like 50 in the 80s. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we just don't know.
So yeah, I just think there's like an attraction to go see it while it's
Yeah.
still here. And how many metal legends have we lost in the past just 5 years alone, let alone 10 years? I mean, we've lost so many people where it's like, okay, if you don't go watch it now, you might not ever.
Yeah.
And it's it's really an allure, and people are coming out, they're showing up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. And I'm stoked for him. I'm stoked for his whole camp. Um, Incredible guys and girls. So very cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's there's also Merciful Fate going on as well.
Yeah, yeah, they did that last year or the year before, which was pretty cool. They did that in the States, and I think that what happened was that was so successful. He was like, "All right, fuck it, maybe I can do this." So it's like a normal length tour. It's like 35 dates, something like that, but it's stretched out over 6.5 weeks.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
noticed that.
it's three on, off, two on, off. It's kind of like lots of downtime. So that's probably for his voice, and he can
Yeah,
recover, and he can
yeah,
do it on his terms. And it's it's pretty, it's good. It's good.
yeah.
It's
As a singer myself, it's the first thing I look at any as soon as I see a tour announced, the first thing I look at is right. Which poor bastard is going to have to sing 4 shows in a row, 5 shows
yeah,
in a row? You know, it's
yeah,
yeah, it's always interesting to see. And as soon as I saw the breakdown of the dates, I was like, oh man, that is sweet. That's like
yeah.
that's that's almost like an old school, you know, 80s, 90s run where, you know, it was just kind of like, yeah, we'll have some days off, you know, we'll take it easy, as opposed to, you know, now where, you know, you don't see that as often because
No,
days
that
off
that
are
Deicide run I was just on, there was 19 in a row, and it was like, oh my
fuck.
God, yeah. I mean, Glenn's up there, fucking doing the Lord's work, every night, and you're like, he's not like, "Boo, boo, 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 boo." I mean, he's like
Yeah.
loud and belting, and I'm like, oh my God, good on you, good on you. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. I'm sat here thinking, rather you than me. Good luck,
Yeah,
mate. Off you
I mean,
go. Yeah.
57. I mean, he is. He's not a spring chicken. He's not like
Yeah.
in his 20s, like youthful and full of piss and vinegar. He's like that's it was it was a tough run. You know.
That's phenomenal, and that's headlining every night.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
And how long do they play?
Anywhere from like 50 to hour five. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not like a really long. It's not a super long headline set, but I mean,
yeah,
within that, Diaz had a short song, so within that time, I mean, you have like 15 or 18 songs have played. I mean, it's no one's
yeah,
leaving there like, oh man, if they could have just did, I
yes,
mean, it's like
yeah,
they're hitting them with the ones that we all want to hear, including the new ones. So it's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. So what's I mean, after all of these, so you've done, front of house tour. What's next? What comes after all of this?
Uh, I am gonna do fuck all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you
sit
can
at my
recover.
house, and I don't think that I'm going to. I had some touring lined up next year. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think Overkill has like some couple one-offs later on in the year, so I think I'm just gonna do that. I'm fortunate enough to where I can make that decision and not
Yeah,
just tour, tour, tour. I mean, so up until this year, when it's all said and done, I've done 5.5 months of touring. The year before I did seven. The year before I did seven. The year before I did 6.5. I mean,
yeah,
so I've went pretty hard for a few years, and I'm like, I might just not. I might just, take it
yeah,
easy and hang at home and do home stuff. So I'll probably
yeah,
end up doing that, which is cool. I mean, I don't. I'm one of those guys who doesn't have to tour because I have to get away from my old lady that I hate. I hate.
yeah,
I don't have that. I don't have that at all, actually, and I can't relate to the people that do have that. And again, I don't have to, and you can do you, and that's okay too. You can hate your missus or your husband all you want. You go, good for you. I miss mine, and I like to be home, and I love my kids, and I love spending time with them, and so I think I'm just going to take a bit easy next year. Of course, I say this, but we'll talk next year, and I'll have some fucking ridiculous schedule.
yeah.
Shit always pops up, but in my mind's eye, I don't think I'm going to be doing too much. I think I'm just gonna chill a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd imagine you've been in this industry long enough now where you get a reputation, and you know that there's always going to be a certain amount of work out there, and you can pick what fits,
Yeah,
into your life, as opposed
yeah,
to the other way around. When you're starting out,
yeah.
your
You got to
life is
take
shaped
everything.
around it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I passed on a lot of stuff this year too. I was just like, nah, you know, I'm like, nah, I'm all right. I
Yeah,
wanted to have a very light schedule. Actually, I had like a pretty good system, a good setup, and then this overkill thing fell in my lap, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be out for 4.5 months straight. I was like, okay, I'm
yeah,
like, all right, but I mean, how do you say no to that? It's
yeah,
like if you get the call to go play with Judas Priest, you don't go, nah. You
yeah.
go, fuck's sake. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So how's the family with all that as well? I would imagine there's a lot of time doing this, except with your family members, etc. It's like you say, four
Yep.
and a half months straight working, touring. You're bringing home the bacon, but you ain't there
Yep.
to be a dad or a husband, and that's
Yep.
that's hard.
I am again. I'm really blessed to have my wife. So when I'm gone, it's not like dad's gone out of sight, out of mind. I mean, like I am talked about, I am brought up. Uh, it is. It's not like it's like dad was doing this today. Dad's here, and it's always been like that. So my kids aren't really without, and we FaceTime and we talk and we have, my daughters are 14 and 13 respectively, and my son is 16. So texting is we can text and talk regularly with one another,
Yeah,
which is fantastic. Or talk on the phone. It doesn't happen so much because I'm still dad, and who. They don't
Yes.
really start wanting to talk to your dad until you're like 18 to
Yeah,
20, and
they're
then
yeah, they're at
right.
that age where it's like, no, I don't need your
Yeah,
advice.
yeah.
No.
And they're like, yeah, the weekend's here, kind of want to hang out with my friends, not you. And I'm like, I get it. All right. Anyways, whatever. I'm like, you want to play video games? You want to watch a movie, something? You want to go? Anyways,
Right.
so but I get to go home and like I'm playing this really cool theater that I've never been to in St. Pete, and um, all of my kids are coming, so we're all gonna hang out, and then afterwards we're gonna watch King Diamond. And my youngest is named Abigail, so
Oh, wow.
she gets to see Abigail live, and
Yeah.
I get to send her a picture of the coffin that says Abigail on it. And I'm like, here we are.
That's amazing.
She's like, Dad, doesn't Abigail kill her dad in that story? I'm like,
Yeah,
it's not the point. I'm like, it's not the point, kiddo.
yeah. It's the title of the album. Let's just forget the
Yeah,
content for a minute.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's tough. It is tough, but that's why I'm like, I might just not do much. But I was home a lot this year. I mean, I was home a lot. I mean, so
Yeah.
I've been around. I only did so when I left Venom, I quit last October, and I had a tour end of February into March, and I was home clear up until July 25th. So I mean, I was home, 8, 9 months,
Yeah.
and and I don't have another job, so I'm home. There's
Yes.
no like dad's going to work. It's like, what do we want to do today? I'm like,
Yeah.
do we want to, they get home from school, I'm cooking dinner, whatever. Do you want to watch a movie? We gonna want to do some homework, whatever. I'm there. So when I'm home, I'm home. So
Yeah.
we get a
Yeah.
lot of we get more one-on-one time than if I was a working stiff, and I didn't get home until 5. Then I had to unwind, like I don't have to unwind. I'm unwound. I'm home. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, and so you're on this tour, which is just amazing. Are you presumably you didn't have that like a huge set to learn either, because being a 45, 50 minute show, you're
oh, no, no, no. The first no, I had a headline. I had to learn the headline set because we did that
ah
European tour first. So I
right,
learned,
okay, sorry, right, yeah,
yeah, I learned 19 songs.
wow,
Mhm.
right. And
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
and then coming in pre-production, how long did you get to do to sort of play
I
with the
had I
band?
had a I had a good lead, man. So I had like 2 months before we had anything. So I had 1 solid month on my drum set at home,
Yeah,
and then I did a European tour with Deicide. So I was just down to a pad and sticks, but I still had a month.
yeah,
And then I had at the end of that month I was vacationing with my wife in Europe, and I had one day where I got to play on a drum set again. And I know the guys in Belfagor, and I happened to be in their hometown of Abtino, and I scheduled it with Helmut to play on their drum set. So I set up and I rehearsed the set, and then I flew home, basically packed my shit up, flew right to the airport the next day. I was home for 9 hours, washed
yeah.
my clothes, flew right up to Jersey. Blitz picked me up at the airport. We went straight to rehearsal, and I set up a kit. We rehearsed for like 5 hours, went back to my hotel. Next day, 5 hours. And then next day, Europe headlined a festival in Romania. I was like, oh my God, no pressure. And here's something
Wow.
crazy, Howard. It's like the world we live in, people are like, my job, like people go like first day on the job, they film the entire thing and then they put it on the world stage. Like I can't imagine any other
Yes.
job. Like imagine if you were like a
Yeah.
dental hygienist assistant and you went in for your first day at work and someone followed you around and recorded everything. And then later put it up on the internet so everybody could fucking, gander what happened anyway. So
Yeah.
I think it's a little weird that I mean, I get
Well,
it. Everyone wants to see how it goes. I mean,
well,
everyone's like interested. and it
But
makes
that's
news.
but also let's keep going with that metaphor, right? Well, not metaphor, that truth. People put rehearsal footage out there as well. That's
Yeah,
like having footage of your job interview
yeah, yeah, yeah.
being put up there.
I mean, as long as you nailed it, who gives a shit, right? But
Yeah,
anyway, so we did that, and then we went straight to Turkey, and then we went straight into the tour where we got on it with our actual gear. So the first two were literally basically throw and goes. You know, we
yeah,
did get a sound check, but it was like complete foreign gear. Um,
yeah,
it was like chaos, festival chaos. But
yeah.
yeah, we did it, and that those were full sets. So those were 90 minutes. So
So that's a full 90-minute headlining
mm,
festival set on a
yeah,
kit you've never played before,
yeah,
other than
yeah, yeah,
sound check
yeah.
and yeah,
That was
yeah.
it.
Wow.
Yeah, game on. It's like
Thrown in at the
okay.
deep end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I do have the whole set, because on this King Diamond tour, we're gonna have some off dates. We haven't had one yet, but we're gonna do some headlining off dates. So I'll have to play the whole set. So
Yeah.
I'm all keyed up on those. So it's all good. Bring it.
It is just constant, isn't it? It's like, right, okay,
Yeah,
let's squeeze these things in on days off. And I mean, which I absolutely get. Um,
yeah. Because this one in particular, there's 20 days off. So
yeah,
that's a bit extreme for that's a bit extreme.
yeah. Well,
Totally makes
let's
sense.
face it, a day off equals setting fire to money.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
burning through cash.
Sure are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hotels, bus
yeah,
cost,
yeah.
petrol,
Oh,
all of that.
it's a day. It's basically it's no different to a show day. You have all of the overheads, but you have none of the revenue.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So they were like, "We're doing a bunch of fillers," and I'm like, "Cool, yeah, let's." I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it. Yeah, let's go. I mean, I like a day off, but then I don't mind playing. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I said,
Well,
I'm super easy, and I don't really complain too much.
but like you say, you like a day off, but 20 days off. I mean, that's one day short of 3 weeks. You
Yeah,
know.
that's a
So
lot of time. That's a lot of time to sit around with a thumb up your ass.
yeah, absolutely. Especially when you don't drink.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I get a lot of reading done, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, a lot of reading, a lot of movie watching, but
A lot
no,
of
I
movie
absolutely
watching.
get it. You've got to get out there and you've got to get out there and play on those days.
Mm.
But yeah, but that's great because it's almost like you've got two parallel tours going on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's real cool. And the guys in the opening band, Night Demon. Uh, for those of you who don't know that band, give them a listen. That band kicks ass, and they are salt of the earth guys. Good guys. And
Yeah,
so I think we're gonna do those. Point of me bringing that up is our off days are with them, so it's like but
right.
still a real kick ass show. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Oh, that makes total sense because if you're able to do that with them as well, and they're so yeah. So basically, the support tour plays shows
yeah,
intermittently when
yeah,
yeah when Kings take some time off.
yeah. Which is pretty common. Like it's pretty common. Like a lot of bands will do that. Like if there's like off days and stuff, then the support might just go and why not? I mean, everybody's there and it's typically en route, and
Yeah,
most support bands are hurting a little more for the revenue. So,
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know anybody who isn't like, who couldn't stand to have the revenue. So,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
Well, no one's no one's out there booking a 3 week tour with no shows.
right.
It's like
Yeah.
no, let's just have the overheads of 3 weeks of touring
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do
and
it.
not do any gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of like nudging you on the Overkill thing. Any idea what the timeline is looking like for getting in the studio or anything like that?
They were talking about Dee Dee as early as last night was talking about writing. They're like going to start February somewhere time in there to start writing. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see how it is. And you know, if it ends up being that I'm playing on it, it's just a 2 hour ride north. Pretty simple. I can land and we can do some rehearsing, and I can hang out in dirty Jersey with those boys and get into
Yeah.
it. And then but I can track everything in my studio. I mean, I have it's all that's all class. So I can end up like, but we can like, I can for sure work on material or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we're
Yeah.
talking about somewhere around then. So
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Well, look, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I really do. It's been great to chat to you, mate. And
yeah,
I'm really glad we got to do this. And
cool. Oh yeah,
hopefully, I'll bump into you at a festival and or a gig or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, whenever Overkill are in town, Bobby always comes on the show. So I'll definitely be over to see you.
He actually said
Should
to say
should you
hi.
be?
By the way,
Sorry.
he said to say hello. By the way, I told him I was
Oh,
doing this interview.
cool. Oh,
He,
awesome. Well, that's lovely. And do say hello to him for me as well. And
will do.
look, thank you very much, man. Thanks for being so patient. I'm really glad we got to do this in the end.
Yeah, me too, brother. And do me a
Cool.
favor, say hi to Mark for me as well.
Yeah, I
So
will. I will. Oh,
cool.
this is so incestuous, isn't it?
All
Just like,
right.
well, that's the business. That's the business we're in.
Amen. All right,
Cool.
brother.
Take care, man. Enjoy the
Cheers,
tour.
bro.
Take
Thank you.
care. Bye bye.